Yeah, good mate.
So, things have been happening at Penrith City Chapel. Just letting you all know, church is back on a Sunday. So, what are we up to?
Yeah, it's so good to be back too, and just to be around people, even though things are obviously still, all socially distanced and everything like that, which are two words that I never want to hear again when this is over. But yeah, starting at 9:30 now, so it's been really nice to see the Penrith City Chapel congregation that we were at 5 p.m. And then meeting together with the morning congregation that was here, the Salvation Army, and just seeing that multi-denominational expression get even more expressive, I reckon. Which has been fun to see that, and just to a lot of anticipation about how it's going to grow. So, it's a new service time, 9:30 a.m., and there's all those kind of practical things, but bigger than that, I think it's just really exciting about where we're heading.
Yeah. So we were doing, those of you who don't know, we've been doing youth together. We've been doing our playtime ministry, or Jitterbugs it's called, Belong Youth and Jitterbugs together. We've been doing mission together. We collected for the Red Shield together a year ago. We've been doing plenty of stuff together. Now this is the next step, I guess, of us partnering to the mission of God. Now, what we have been doing though is we've been doing an online church, and we're going to keep it going. I want to thank you for all your editing. That's been really good. Now we're going to go different though, because on what are we doing on Sundays at the moment? What's our theme?
So Sundays is we're really looking at that everyone culture that we actually did do in the video, the online, which was kind of the online interview kind of feel. Now on Sundays we're doing that in more of a church context, but it was great to kind of do that through the online. But now that we've done that, we're moving into our next thing with online, our next kind of area of focus, which I think is going to be really practical and really helpful. If you want to kind of...
Well, I can expand that out a bit. So what we're going to do for this next season online is we're going to do some things that are really helpful for our own lives. It was good to talk about the culture of Penrith City Chapel, but this is about getting a bit more personal. So we're going to focus on relationships for the next period of time, next 3 months actually. We're going to look at marriage. We're going to look at family. We're going to look at even workplace relationships, and we're going to look at friendships. And we're going to try and see just how maybe we can strengthen those in our lives, because we're about to come out of isolation. Hopefully, that's our prayer, back into relationship, and hopefully we haven't all just learnt how to do Zoom, and that maybe we can take a chance to restock and relook at our relationships.
And what is the verse that you were sharing before around, I guess, what underpins all relationships?
So for me, He's a relational God, and one of our verses at Penrith City Chapel is, we love because he first loved us. So that's the verse. We love because he first loved us. And every relationship, whether it's at work, whether it's in marriage, whether it's the friendships, whether it's family, God's aim is to fill relationships with his love. And that concept of our capacity to love is only going to come once we know what it is to be loved. That's how God's modeled us, I guess. So hopefully what we're going to see is a whole lot more love in our relationships. That's the plan, because that's how God demonstrated his love, by actually coming to us and relating to us. So that's what I'm thinking.
And so the clip that we're about to go to ties in with that?
It does, yeah. Just to kick us off for a bit of fun, we're going to watch, it's a very famous book by a very famous author, Gary Chapman, 5 Love Languages. And just for a bit of, I guess, equipping, if you like, just generally in relationships, and just for a reminder that we express and receive love in different ways, we're going to watch this short clip on the 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. We hope you really enjoy it, and we hope it sets a nice scene for some great stories of strong relationships and maybe some vulnerable stories of where relationships have been a bit tough coming up over the next 3 months. So please enjoy Five Love Languages by Gary Chapman. Cool. Talk to you soon.
What's going on, guys? Today's video is going to be on the book The 5 Love Languages, The Secrets to Love That Last by Dr. Gary Chapman. So have you ever been in one of those relationships where you think you're doing everything you can to please your partner, but they're still feeling frustrated and unloved? I mean, you're giving them compliments, you work hard all day to bring home the bacon and pay the bills, you give them gifts, and you even do some chores around the house, but they're still feeling unloved. I mean, what more do they want, right? It's incredibly frustrating and annoying. Well, the reason why they aren't feeling loved, in short, is that you're not speaking their love language. The premise of the book is that people don't give and receive love in the same way. Most of us think that the way we want to be loved is how others want to be loved as well, but this is not the case. There are in fact 5 love languages. This is huge because if you're not speaking the same language as your partner, then you could be missing the mark completely and not even know it. It's basically the equivalent of a British guy trying to talk to a Chinese guy. It's not going to go well because they're simply not going to understand each other. If you're going to have a strong relationship, you have to know how you and your partner both give and receive love. The 5 love languages are words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. Let's go through each one a little deeper. Words of affirmation. Do you like hearing I love you or compliments or meaningful words above all else? Are insults especially detrimental to your relationship? If so, then this is probably your love language. If you discover that this is your partner's love language, make sure you give them genuine compliments and tell them you appreciate them often. The second love language is quality time. Do you value full and undivided attention above all else? One-on-one time with the TV off, the cell phone put away, and no distraction is what makes this type of person feel loved the most. Canceled or postponed dates and failure to listen are especially hurtful to this type. If this is your partner's love language, learn to listen better, make eye contact more, and spend more time with them instead of at the office or glued to your cell phone. Ask them what they'd like to do with you, and then schedule a date to do it. Don't assume what they'd like to do with you, ask. The third love language is receiving gifts. Sure, we all like getting gifts, but this type of person loves receiving gifts above all else. Gifts to this type of person mean everything because it shows the love, thought, and effort that went into the gift. I'm not talking about materialistic or the cost of the object, but the thought behind it. Missed birthdays, anniversaries, and thoughtless gifts tear this type of person apart. The cost doesn't matter, it's the thought. It can be as simple as a card or some picked flowers or a note saying that you love their eyes. The fourth language is acts of service. Chores around the house or errands that ease the burden of responsibility are the loving characteristics of this love language. This can be as simple as taking out the trash, paying the bills, doing the dishes, picking up the kids from school, and so on. Broken commitments and laziness can make this type feel unloved. And lastly, physical touch. This doesn't necessarily mean sex. If hugs, cuddling, holding hands, and thoughtful touches are the most important thing to you, then this could be your love language. If their physical presence is crucial to you, then this could be an indicator as well. Any kind of neglect or abuse would destroy this type of person and their relationship. So which one do you most strongly identify with? Keep in mind, you should only have one primary love language. Sure, we may like all those things, but one of them should resonate with you the most. Really think about each one and imagine your partner doing each one in turn and see how you feel. If you're still having a hard time, let's look at a couple ways to figure out your love language. First, examine your childhood. How did your parents express their love to you? What made you feel loved? That may have translated to how you now express and receive it. Another way is to ask what's your first instinct when you want to show someone you love them. Trust your instinct. And the third way is to look at how you've been hurt deeply in the past. What hurt the most? Exploring that can help shed light on what your love language is. If you still don't know, go take the quiz over at 5lovelanguages.com. Now that you know your love language, think about these love languages from your partner's perspective. Can you identify their love language? I highly suggest you ask them to take the quiz instead of assuming what it is. Remember, what we think is an act of love may not be seen that way by your wife, your husband, or your partner. It really is vital that we learn and understand their love language if we want to make them feel loved. So, find your partner's love language and speak it. do something special once a week to fill up what Dr. Chapman calls their love tank. Your love tank is like the gas tank in a car. You want to fill it up and keep it full. When your tank is full, your love life will be at its best, and a full tank can keep you going through trying times and relationship difficulties. If you're not consistently filling up the tank, you'll be running on fumes and eventually you'll burn out. Now, if your relationship's already running on fumes, then it'll take a while for the love tank to get full, so keep at it, keep speaking their love language, and over time, your relationship will start going in the right direction. And another big takeaway from the book, Dr. Chapman explains that love is a choice. It's something that you can control. It's a feeling, and even if you lose some of those feelings over the course of a marriage or any other long-term relationship, you can choose to do the actions first, and the feelings of love will follow. This sounds a little counterintuitive, but it works. So that's it, guys. Quick recap. First, you need to find out what your own love language is. It could be words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, or physical touch. And then find out what your partner's love language is. Don't assume what it is, talk to them about it. Then make a commitment to do something special each week, something that ties into their primary love language. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and feel free to check out some of my other videos. Thanks, guys.